Okay, so those of you who realised what I did wrong there, well done. Of course, the answer wasn't in any of the previous answers that I suggested to you. It was none of the above. The thing I did wrong on the second cut, and this is really, really important to understand, and it's to do with the chain brake. What I did wrong was I held the saw with my thumb on the far side of the handle, the way you might hold a steering wheel. Holding this saw with your thumb on the far side of the handle or on top of the handle is extremely dangerous. You're supposed to hold it like this, and I'll explain why. The chain brake does two things. The chain brake locks the chain in position when it's stationary. It's never used to actually stop the chain except in an emergency. You always put the chain brake on before you take your hand off a running saw or before you take a step with the saw, so if you fall over you don't end up giving it a squirt and cutting something that you shouldn't. The next thing the chain brake does, and hopefully you'll never actually need to use this, is it can act as an emergency brake. And it's an emergency brake only when you get kickback. And when you get kickback, what will happen is the saw will pivot. And as the saw pivots, the chain brake will come on. The saw can only pivot if you are holding the top handle like this. If you are holding the top handle like this, when that saw kicks up, it will pop out of your hand. And you'll either end up cutting your hand or the chain brake won't engage. That is the dangerous thing that you do, that I see people doing all the time. They cut holding like this. And when I did my chainsaw training years and years ago, it was a really bad habit I had. A lot of beginners have this habit because they feel like they're holding a steering wheel the way you'd hold a steering wheel. So my instructor would periodically appear when I was cutting with some forestry paint over my shoulder, and every time he saw me holding the saw like that, it would spray up and down my hand. And after a week of having a hand sprayed, I think it was actually red he was using, of having my gloves sprayed red, it finally sunk in. You don't hold a saw like that, you hold it like that. That will engage the chain brake in an emergency. That was today's safety tip. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Goodbye.